about AllOver Street and all the events happening tonight.
Hi. Thanks for coming. Thanks, Mike. My name is Kimmy. I'm one of the founders and organizers of AllOver Street. And before we delve into the wonderful talk that we have tonight, I just wanted to welcome and introduce you to the project. So AllOver Street is a monthly art walk that happens on every first Friday, and it spans various wonderful spaces on East AllOver Street and beyond. And it's sort of based on two very basic principles. The first is that it's democratically curated, which means that any art space or collective or group in this geographic location that wishes to be involved is welcome to do so, and that we do our best to actively seek out that participation. So if you want to participate, hit me up. The second is that it's collectively run, which means that all the spaces that you see putting on shows tonight and every first Friday also participate in an ongoing collective decision-making process. So basically, with the start of 2016, I was really excited that we were able to partner with Station Arts to continue to grow this project. And as part of this new partnership, and also to reflect the desires of our collective, we created these art talks, which basically every month feature or host a different participating gallery and an artist of their choosing. Tonight, we have the very wonderful Light Bulb, which is an intermedia art monthly journal and showcase that's created by Victor Torbish, and it's located on the 4th floor of the Copycat building just up the street, where tonight there's also 8 other openings happening, all directly following this talk. In addition to those 8 openings, there's also an opening at Gallery CA, which is, I think, yeah, that way, if I'm orienting myself correctly. And there's also an opening at Space Camp up on North Avenue. And yeah, Light Bulb is amazing, and I'm really excited. So, great, Victor.
Hi, how y'all doing? Okay. Hi, I'm Victor. Nice to meet you. Light Bulb. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for having me, Kimmy. Thank you for having me, Ben. And I'm not going to take much of your time. I'm really here just to introduce Fire Angelo. But I really want to sneak in some Light Bulb stuff. I mean, really, new media to me is really, it's just a really important kind of art genre in a way, because as Mark Tribe puts it, new media is to our reaction to the readily availability of information in the internet and new advances in telecommunications, as dataism was to the reaction of the mechanization of war and mechanically reproduced reproductions, right, of pictures, of media, and whatnot. So we are a intermedia art venue, and we host emerging artists as well as established artists, and we actively try to investigate the role of visual culture through technology and the body. And, with the monthly budget of approximately $100, we're able to host, we've been able to host about 40 works by 23 different artists. And we've produced 3 video interviews with artists. We were born in September 2015. We're only 6 months old. We have a staff of 3, basically. Kata Frederick is right over there. Sonia Norco, right over here. Family. So our vision is really to encourage local artists to publish their works. We have a monthly publication that we print ourselves, and we are trying to get people to publish their works, publish their portfolio, their writings, how are their processes, how do you put that in writing, how do you conduct research through art. What does art look like as a discipline, right? And we've had 5 shows, because, 5 months, 5 shows, 5 publications. And this is a list of the artists we curated. And on February we had Symbols. Well, this month we have Symbols. The journals are going to be for sale out in B401. Come to the Copycat. January we had Myths. December we had Idols. November we had Heathens. October we had Spells. And all of these shows are curated thematically, and all the work kind of really forms an overarching kind of one huge kind of aesthetic or theme or argument, if you will, but not really a statement, if you will, but kind of like a one time. So Fire Angelo, in her own words, is a writer, an activist, a womanist, and truth teller. She is here to make you see yourself in the world in a better way. That's her job, as she says it. And that's what she does. So she goes into the dark places of herself, of who she is, to bring light to others through writing, through the power of the word, and have a large imagination. Has a large imagination, which makes her capable of being so freaking brilliant. Come here. Okay, I'm getting off now. Thank you so much.
Can you hear me in the back? Do I need to use a microphone? You can? You see, I can get really loud on the mic. Really loud. Alright. So I'm going to put this here, as long as you can hear me. So, I'm going to do a poem because that's the best way that I can introduce myself to you. And that will show you who I am. Just listen to the poem and the spirit of the poem. But I'm going to need your help to do the poem. So when I point at you, I want you to snap like this. Right? It's going to be rhythmic. You're going to feel it. You're going to fall into the rhythm of it. That's cool? Yeah. All right, need y'all with me? That's cool? Yeah. All right. So they want to shoot my people because we shooting stars. One to them I like, hate how bright we are. Ancestors' aroma is smelling pretty hard. Commit in my kinship, hate how tight we are. I said they want to shoot my people because we shooting stars. One to them I like, hate how bright we are. Ancestors' aroma is smelling pretty hard. Commit in my kinship, hate how tight we are. Now racism had a mistress named white privilege, huh? She put her feet up, let the color folk do the dishes. Being black is just like being a bicyclist in a world that's predominantly car-centric. So the system's not broken, not meant for you. They colonize my land, then they colonize my classroom. Our lineage don't have a lane, pursuit of freedom filled with pain. If Aunt Jemima was to sing, it would sound like acid rain. They speak hatred into ourselves before we speak for ourselves. Now we can't speak at all unless blood's the motivation. Got to get shot down in the streets before peace becomes impatient. Striving for justice in the jungle where tigers can't be tamed. I got the language in last name. I'm a reminder of the pain, a reminder of the death, The colonization contest. Police treat black boys like liquor shots. Whose round it's gonna be next? See, they want to shoot my people cause we shooting stars. Want to dim our light, hate how bright we are. Ancestors' aroma is smelling pretty hard. Commit in my kinship, hate how tight we are. Now, guns make gods out of humans, make men into martyrs. There's no life in tomorrow. Blood showers in sorrow. Morning into the morning, so tired our soul starts yawning. So we wait on freedom like the second coming, as if we got time like the second's coming. He got shot once, but here's the second coming. Then the blood starts running, complacency confronted. So what you gonna do when your freedom's revoked, when your distractions go up in smoke? Are you gonna sit by the TV while they hook up the IV, screaming the devil's inside me, on top of me, can't get it out of me, possibly broken and choking on freedom that we have not seen? It's the same play, just a different scene. And we acting real free with invisible shackles. You ain't got the knowledge, then go bite the apple. If you ready to ride, then don't be scared of the saddle. See, we be speaking in love when America's language is blood. So freedom's a mistranslation, cause they don't care about us. Our moons are being murdered, our starships are shot down, so gravity's out of service. What you gonna do now? What you gonna do with this system America put upon you? Are you a pawn too? What you gonna do with this system America put upon you? Are you a pawn too? You see, they want to shoot my people cause we shooting stars. Want to dim our light, hate how bright we are. Ancestors' aroma is smelling pretty hard. Commit in my kinship, hate how tight we are. Thank you. So, my name is Fire Angelou, and I am a writer. I am a truth teller. My mama gave me the name Nakia Brown. My father gave me the name Peaches. I don't go by two of those names. So I really wanted to center my talk around the idea of truth and how important it is that we remember ourselves. And the personal is always political, that the home is always humanitarian. Because I can write that poem and speak that poem in that way because I've seen it and I've felt it. I've experienced that pain. I've experienced what it feels like to feel like maybe your life is not appreciated in this country. So in order to really go to talk about my work and what my work is and why I do what I do, I can't really go to my creations and talk about my writing and all that stuff. What I really need to talk about is my creator. And not God, but she is God in my house. My mama. And my mama, her name is Rhonda Brown, and she is a woman that's taught me really a lot about resistance and also a lot about respect. And I would even say that that's where I kind of learned to be an activist, because I said no lots of times to my mama. But if you ever told a black mother no, you know you do not win that protest. So I wanted to tell you some truths about myself and things that I've learned about who I am and how important it is. What is your truth? What is it that you will fight for? What is it that will make you get up in the morning every day and say, I deserve to live today? And that's something that is really crucial to my work, because everything I write comes from my heart. And it's not something just a political rhetoric. It's what I feel and what I experience every day. So truth number one was that I never knew that my mama was a black woman. And that sounds really crazy, because I see her every day. But I never understood what she was experiencing. I was like, why my mama always yelling? Why she always yelling about a dish in the sink? Why she always talking about this sock on the floor? But I never truly understood my mama, why she was going through so much mental trauma and putting that onto me. So much so that I began to hate myself. And then I began to hate my mother too. And through that experience really taught me a lot about what it meant to be a black woman, what it meant to fight, sometimes even when you're not being fought for, and not always having the strength to do that. And truth number two is that I learned about the prison industrial complex because I fought my mama. Now I I wouldn't say that you should go fight your mama to learn about a political system. So don't do that, because if you fight a black mother, it doesn't go well. And the police don't have to be there. So what happened was I was really bad when I was young. Really, I went through the foster care system since I was like 13 years old. And one night, basically, I had ran away for like a month, and I came back home, and when I got there, my mama was at the door. She was like, "We gotta go. Look, your brother, girlfriend just got her face cut, and we need to go to the hospital right now." So I'm like, "Cool, I can like get out of a beating right now because y'all gotta go to the hospital, and I don't gotta get beat today because I just came back." So we got to the hospital, and I was like really bored in the waiting room, and I got on the phone to call one of my friends. But I was on punishment before I left home, and I couldn't use the phone. I couldn't be on the computer. Couldn't do anything. And my mama did not forget that I was on punishment. So she came in there and she was like, "Nakia, you need to get off the phone right now." And I looked at my mom. This was probably the worst day in my life, but would transform me. And I said no. And my mama was really upset at me, and she charged at me. And something in me, I fought her back because I was fighting within myself. I didn't know how to listen to her. And so when that moment happened, I got locked up that day because the police were there. And I was charged for a second-degree assault. And I remember when I was going to court and I was in the holding cell, and there was a group of boys across from me, about 4 black boys who were in the cell, and all of them were just talking about what they did. So they was like, "Oh, I sold like a bag of weed," or like, "I like stole something from the corner store," or whatever. And then like a white boy comes in, we all just waiting to go to court. A white boy comes in, and they're like, "Oh, white boy in here," and they just talking, right? And they're like, "What'd you do? What'd you do?" And he's like, "Well, I stole a Ferrari and crashed it." You're like, okay. Like, that's real different. You ain't no Ferraris around where we live at. You like crash a Chevy or something. So I was just sitting there like, that's crazy that he Ferrari. So it was just crazy. I was like, he is gonna go to jail for a long damn time. Like, he's gonna be in there forever. And so I'm just sitting there. I had a terrible public defender. She came like a minute before I was about to go to court, and I was sitting there waiting, and I literally watched all these young black boys go to court and come back to the holding cell. And they were all going to go to adult prison. And then I waited, like I was waiting when the white boy was going. I was like waiting, like, he coming, right? He coming back, right? And so that was, I didn't have the language. I was 14. I didn't have the language for what that was. What was that? Why did he get off? I didn't have the language for race. I didn't have the language for politics, or for what a prison industrial complex was. But something in me knew that that was wrong. And I ended up writing a poem about that went like, "There are 5 boys in the cell across from me, and 4 out of 5 of them will be considered 3/5 of a man. And there are 5 walls, 4 that surround us, but 1 that is made of our skin. See, blacks are always in a double prison. But I could smell the hope of white privilege. One Caucasian who knew that DJS was not meant for his DNA, handcuffs were allergic to his helix. He bounced freedom off his tongue because he could taste it. I watched westward expansion walk out of a felony, while every single boy of color returned for a crime less severe. But why should we care about a few black boys that committed a crime? But we should care that they are criminalized before they even commit one." And at that time, I had no idea what white privilege was. I was 14. No one ever said that. But as I got older, I started to have these words that I could use. Truth number 3 is that in order to be an activist, which is what I consider myself, you have to activate yourself. You have to be able to see who you are. The first time I heard myself speak, I was like terrified. I was like scared, like, what is that? Like, what was that? Did you mind? And it was scary. So I did an oratory contest for WJZ my senior year of high school, and I thought I was like super like cool. Like my white history teacher was like, "You be saying really cool stuff. You should like apply to this." I'm like, "Yeah, Mr. Bolaire, I really like you. You're a really cool white teacher. So I'm gonna do this for you." And so I submitted to be in it, and somehow out of the grace of God, I was able to do it. So I had to memorize like this 4 page essay, and I had never memorized anything outside of my phone number. So I I was tripping, and I went that day, and I woke up, and I was like, I'm so happy I get to go. I can go to the Reginald F. Lewis Museum. Kai Jackson's gonna be there. I woke up and took like 3 showers, and like, I was like, Mom, it's so great. I was like, you're gonna be happy and proud of me. And I wore high heels and like red lipstick, and no one, like, you should never wear high heels if you're nervous. That shit does not work. So I'm like, oh, I'm just saying like, and I get there, and I remember, you know, looking out into this, like, those sea of people and seeing them look back at me, and the light just like falling all over me. And it's that silence, you know, that sounds like right before someone's about to speak. It's just like real soft and tender. And I was like, I just spoke. And it's like my voice just like went over everyone, and it was just like sun. It was like going like a shooting star in the midnight sky. And I was so proud to see myself, to hear myself in that way. And I thought that I am the sun this whole time. I had been thinking I was not. And I said, the first line of the essay was like, while walking through life's flames, I became the fire to ignite change. And like people were quoting me. A woman came afterwards, even though I didn't win the competition, was like, we loved your poem so much that my family, we came together and we're going to give you some money because it was for scholarship. And I didn't realize how expensive college was. I would have been like, lady, come back, I need like $20,000. Like, I need a lot more money. But it was a beautiful experience. And so the last thing I want to talk about this poem for you that I wrote after I came from a protest for the first time. And I wore like slightly high heels, and people should tell you that you shouldn't wear high heels to protest or anything. You wear tennis shoes, okay? Just tennis shoes, okay? And no one told me that you had to hold a protest sign up the whole time, so my arm was hurting. And I was like, there's so many, like, why is there no memo, like, human considerations for protest? So I was like, I'm gonna write a poem about the importance of self-love in systematic hate. So the poem went like, a note on self-love in the midst of systematic hate. When you experience microaggressions at a predominantly white institution, you will be tempted to go to Starbucks, stare at a random white person sideways for the rest of the day. Instead, go outside and stare at black people doing incredible things like you are doing right now, existing. When you fall asleep to Fox News and Sean Hannity haunts you in your nightmares, know that this is not a nightmare. He is really haunting you. But usually you are awake. Solution, change the channel or don't watch Fox News. Side note, there is still Don Lemon. When your tongue feels like derision in your mouth, and hearing yourself speak English feels like self-colonization, say Ashe or Asante Sana to put the vibration of yourself back into your body. It has been centuries since you heard the sound of your mother. She begs for you within her cracks, bearing fufu in a bucket of fresh water when you wake up to a good morning text from Bay. And another video of police brutality on your timeline. You may not want to eat breakfast after seeing yourself be murdered over and over again, so allow yourself time to cry. Time to think of a political agenda, time to brush your teeth, and then text Bay back. When there is a funeral, do not automatically associate blackness with death, instead associate it with rebirth. When someone attempts to tell you to hate yourself during dinner, it will sound like, well, why did Freddie Gray run? Or, why don't you get a perm? Do not hate them, but do not pay for their dinner either. Sip your dark red wine and teach them how to stare into midnight to appreciate darkness. Be advised that hate is a toxic substance, and you will need a plastic gloves and a painful smile to begin extracting it. You might want to order yourself another bottle of wine. When you realize that you are a slave, listen to modern Negro spirituals, aka Kendrick Lamar's "We Gon' Be Alright," and dance like you know you got ancestors, like you learned the ancient dance of twerk in the village from the black women who knew how to break their backs and bend them simultaneously. In a contemptuous country where you have been taught how to swallow hate and take it on long romantic walks, it may become difficult for you to learn to love someone who doesn't hate you first, so relearn love like it's a language. like it's the sound of resistance. That I will not die. See, eating kale salad is proof. Going to get a therapist is proof that I will survive, because black self-care is political warfare. Cuddling while watching Netflix is black liberation. Because in order to steady your gun, you have to be relaxed. And when your city protests, media ratings will increase, because protesting is good business. From this, you will learn that not all protests are physical, that sometimes you gotta put your mind and your money where that dead black body is. And when you are tired of community meetings, public speaking, and doing human shit like laundry, because you know black people die, but we also live too. Stay in the presence of black folk to energize you, because there ain't no diet pills for freedom. Revolution has never been a one-time event, and when you start to think that self-love is not radical enough to save you, to save us, remind yourself that you cannot nation build without first building yourself. Truth number 4, which I think is really important, because I think that we have to understand activism is human pain healing itself. So I'm not out fighting because I'm angry. I'm angry, right? I am angry. But I'm also hurting, which is why we fight, which is why we care. You fight for people you love. You fight for people you care about. You wouldn't fight for someone you hated. And if you love yourself, you'll fight for yourself. You'll always stand up for yourself. That doesn't just apply to just black politics. That applies to every part and facet of your life. And truth number 5 is, I love my mama. Appreciate y'all.
So we have time for a couple of questions if anybody's curious about something.
So what's the process that you go through when you write a poem?
When I write a poem, usually it requires people to make me really mad. So if you have a person that you can just get around to make you mad about shit, it's like, no, okay. But usually it's something that has made me really happy, something that really sparks an emotional experience. Sometimes it's really something simple, like today I was in Red Image and I was talking to somebody and I could see a black boy in my glasses because the way the light was refracting off of my glasses. And I was like, yo, that's so beautiful. And I was like, I'm writing a poem about that. I didn't write the poem yet. But the point is that usually I start from something really emotional that I feel connected to, and then I just start writing. And I don't critique myself while I'm writing. I use editing for that. But it depends on what you're writing. So first, if I'm doing something for performance, I might tweak the words differently or spend a lot more time. There's 2 processes when you're talking about spoken word. It's not just the writing and the editing, but it's also how do I want to say this word? How do I want to shape it? So it's various processes that you go through.